Hello everyone, this is Wei, and today we're going to talk about my 3 years experience as a customer machine learning engineer in FAANG. You might also hear the name professional services or consultant. They are basically the same. So the major difference between the customer machine learning engineer and the normal software engineer is that you are customer facing, right? So you actually need to talk to the customer to understand their problems. And normally, your company will provide some services like a cloud services or other products that the customer is trying to use, and you will work together with the product team and also the customer team to utilize the features of the product and help the customer to actually achieve their business target. And the second difference is that you're a machine learning engineer, which is quite different from other customer engineers because more often than not, the problem is not because of the product, right? The problem is because it's tough machine learning problems, right? If you are a cloud company, the customer is just trying to run machine learning onto your server, right? So it's not because your server cannot run machine learning code, is because the machine learning problem itself is difficult. So you actually have to work with the customer to understand their business target, how to use machine learning to solve it, design the machine learning system, and develop the machine learning solution and push it to production. And the third difference is that you are working in FAANG. So you should expect that the customer is going to pay a lot to FAANG to actually have you in their project. So the customer is going to pay around like hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars to have view into their project to solve their problems. So you should expect that the customer had probably try internally, probably ask some professors, ask their friends, or even ask some other consulting companies, and they are not able to solve it, so they have to pay those monies to have you to solve their problems. So you can expect that these problems are not going to be easy. So across the 15 projects that I have done across these 3 years, these are three examples of the problems that I have solved. So the first one is a scheduling optimization project. So in this project, the customer had been trying 5 years for 5 years to try to utilize machine learning to improve their production scheduling, right? And across these 5 years, the attempt is not successful because the scheduling result of the machine learning is still worse than manual scheduling result. Right? So we finished the project in 3.5 months. We have to study what they have researched across these 5 years and actually figuring out what can be improved and what can be the system that will actually work in production to help them to provide a better machine learning scheduling uh, compared to their manual result. And the second one is a defect detection. So I happen to work on multiple defect detection projects. And one example that I will give is that we got a training video of 200 hours. It's not a lot. We got 200 hours of training videos, and the defect data is around 12 seconds. So this is typical in defect detection projects, that the defect data is just not enough, right? So, but before we do data augmentation to increase the defect pattern, there might exist some other patterns that look almost exactly the same as your defect, right? So you have to do some pre-processing to actually enhance the defect before you do all those augmentation, right? And I also happen to work on a recommendation engine, not just once, but twice during these 3 years. In fact, before I joined FAANG, I was working on a recommendation engine. So we are trying to help the customer to do some like deep bias in their product recommendation, or sometimes do some pre-processing to actually prepare that they have a good entity or item that is ready to be recommended. And given these nature of these projects, so you should expect that you will be able to see all kinds of problems across different industries. So I'm able to work on education, manufacturing, retail, semiconductor, and yeah, other industries that I might forget. And all these peoples are trying to solve different problems, and these are quite interesting. And after seeing all these interesting challenges, and you are fortunate enough, I'm fortunate enough to be the person who actually have to solve these problems, right? So we will have to discuss with the customer to understand what the problem is, actually spend time, design, develop the solution, and put it into production. And this is quite a precious end-to-end experience. So we will be able to figuring out with the customer together, and also do brainstorming, and then do design, do the development, and at the end, you have to do a knowledge transfer to the customer so that after 2 to 3 months of development and cooperation, the customer will not need to find you again, right? So you need to do a proper knowledge transfer. And this end-to-end experience have some good or bad, right? So let's go with the bad first, right? So the bad is that it's very high pressure, right? So there's one theory that the closer you work with the customer, the higher the pressure you get, right? So you work directly with the customer, so you should expect that the customer is going to expect something from you, and you have weekly meeting, you have monthly milestone that you have to match. So yeah, the customer is going to check if you actually develop something that can help their business. And the second bad thing that might happen is crunch time. So you can expect that you have a certain timeline that you want to meet. There's a development schedule that you want to follow. So before the deadline, like every week, before the customer meeting, right? You have to develop something to show to the customer, to show your research progress. And before the closure of the project, you are expecting to provide something that can actually work in the customer environment, right? So it's almost unavoidable that you have to crunch sometimes. And that is just one project, right? So if you happen to work on multiple projects at the same time, during my 3 years experience, I have 1 week that I have 4 projects overlapping, and that is just a nightmare. So you have to learn to say no, otherwise, the crunch will never stop. And the last bad thing about this position is that you might have less team interaction. So of course, in the beginning, you will ask the team, you ask the broader team, have anyone work on something similar before, and they are quite active. So they will provide some examples, some slides, some code, artifact that you can actually reference, you can check. But after that, when you are deep into the project, you won't be able to interact with your team too much. Instead, you will work with the customer project team. So you should look at the customer project team as your allies, not your enemies. So if you take them as enemies, you are like throwing into a battlefield, and everything you see, every people you met is an enemy, and that's not good. So the customer project team is your ally, and there is one dragon to slay, which is the business pain point, right? So you work with different customer teams to actually slay the dragon. So expect the experience is like you are switching teams every 2 to 3 months. So yeah, so given that nature, you will have less team interaction, of course, because you will focus on the target, and you will just meet different people. And after going through the bads, let's talk about the good. Right. So the good thing is that it's quite challenging. Right. You are tackling some tough problems in the industry, and these problems might not have solutions, and you will have to be the person who actually figure out how to solve them. So the challenging is a good. Some people might not like challenging, but challenging is good for me. So after challenging, you will get the reward and growing, right? So in reward, there are two different kinds of reward. One is that you will be able to get paid by FAANG, and that is quite a lot of money. So your salary will match the software engineer, and we know that FAANG pay a lot to software engineer, right? So you will be able to get paid a lot. And the second reward is that after you are able to complete the project, the customer will thank you. It's not that the customer will pay extra because they won't. It's that the customer will pay you their respect. And respect is something that is very difficult to earn in this industry, in this technology industry, right? So you will earn the customer's respect, and that is quite rewarding. And the last one is that you can grow very fast. You will learn a lot from the customer's problems, from trying to implement the things that might not even work, right? So in that scheduling optimization, we have to check every reinforcement learning papers that just came out because we are not able to solve the problems before the last month of the project. So we have to implement transfer learning to actually transfer the critic network in our reinforcement learning structure, use recurrent neural network structure, and also we have to check meta learning to build an offline experience sharing pool, and a lot of different technique will have to go into the scheduling optimization architecture to actually make it work. And not all projects going to be that difficult, but yeah, these are difficult problems, and you will expect yourself to grow a lot. So before I the joining the company in this position, I actually mainly work on recommendation system, right? But after 3 years, I work on computer vision, I work on NLP, I work on a lot of different machine learning techniques that I won't be able to have a chance to touch. So after these sharings, that's summarize the experience. It's a fun experience for me, but it might not be fun for everyone, right? So it's challenging. Challenging is fun, and yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, if you would like me to share the details of any of the projects, leave a comment below. If you like this video, please click the like, and I will really appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel. And that's it. Thank you.